Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and today we're going to bring you some sweet spoilers, including some minor gods and another black removal spell. Super. The first spoiler we're going to talk about today came from Patrick Chapin via Star City Games. Thassa's rebuff is a 2-mana instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X, where X is your devotion of blue. Hey, mono blue devotion! Here's a nice replacement for dissolve. Granted, you're not going to want to test this out before making a complete swap, but I can't think of a reason to not run this in mono blue. It's going to effectively be counterspell most of the time. We've already seen a few cards that makes mono black devotion much more powerful, and now blue devotion gets something. It's like the race of monocolor, who can get more broken. One thing I will say is this counter will help that deck out a lot. Since we're talking about mono blue devotion, we might as well talk about the new removal spell that absolutely destroys Master of Waves tokens. Bio-Blight is a 2 mana instant. Target creature and all other creatures with the same name as that creature get -3/-3 until end of turn. Because black wasn't already oppressive enough, here's another amazing removal spell. Doomblade and Ultimate Price were doing fine, but just in case you need that extra piece of insanely good removal, here it is. This card destroys mono blue, destroys the early game in mono red, and potentially the early game in any green deck looking to ramp up. Did I forget to mention? Perfect way to kill Nightveil Spectre. See you later, you little multicolored flying menace. Next, we have something a little unique. Fade Unraveler is 4 mana for a 3/4 enchantment creature hag. No bestow, not a god, just an enchantment creature. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. This is Underworld Dreams on a creature. Also very splashable, so that's a point in its favor. This card is going to be amazing in Limited and awesome in Commander. Specifically, those of you that play Nekosar the Mindrazor must be drooling right now. I'm a little torn with this card in regards to constructed playability. I want to like it, it's great against Sphinx's Revelation, but the black decks that exist right now are just so powerful on their own, I'm not sure this hag has the raw power level to keep up. The next card we're going to look at is an interesting one. Searing Blood is 2 red mana for an instant burn spell. It deals 2 damage to target creature. When that creature dies this turn, Searing Blood deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. On the surface, people are going to automatically think, awesome, let's put it in our standard deck. Hold on for a second. Think about where creatures are right now in Standard in terms of power and toughness. A lot of the bigger threats like Boros Reckoner and Nightveil Spectre have 3 toughness. Lightning Strike is perfect for these guys. Yes, there are some creatures you would want to kill that do have 2 toughness, but I think this card's value is elsewhere. Legacy and Modern are 2 formats that rely heavily on early game creatures. Dark Confidant, Deathrite Shaman, Delver of Secrets, and Noble Hierarch are all played pretty extensively in those formats. Each of these can be killed by Searing Blood. 3 toughness is a lot more important in Standard than it is in these older formats where the most powerful creatures either have 1 to 2 toughness or 15. I do think this card will see play in all formats, but I think it's best suited for formats where 3/3s aren't the biggest threats. Finally, we get something that can deal with gods easily. Unravel the Aether is 1 colorless and 1 green for an instant that lets you choose target artifact or enchantment. Its owner shuffles it into his or her library. Yes! Great way to get around indestructibility. It's cheap, it's instant speed, it's going in sideboards of any deck running green. Thassa is very strong right now, and you can expect a couple gods out of this upcoming set to be dangerous as well. Great sideboard tech. This is it, guys. It's finally time for the man-cow-bear bulls to shine. Ragemonger is our next spoiler. 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red gets you our new 2/3 Minotaur Savior. Minotaur spells you cast cost 1 black and 1 red less to cast. This cast doesn't affect colorless mana in any way, and if one color or the other would have no effect, you just ignore it. So a Boros Reckoner would cost 2 red or white to play instead of 3. Guys, it's time. Kragma Warcaller, Boros Reckoner, and now Ragemonger? We have to do it! We have to build a tribal Minotaur deck! That's a really good idea for a deck tech. Next up, we have our first minor god of this video. Xenagos, God of Revels, is 3 colorless, 1 red, and 1 green for a 6/5 god that, just for the record, has not yet lost his spark. Seriously though, that's straight from Doug Bayer. Xenagos is still a planeswalker even if his god card doesn't treat him as one. Like all the other gods, he's indestructible and has the same devotion requirement from his colors to be a creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets +X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. Wow! Green-red monsters totally needed something like this. No, it didn't. I get that mono black and mono blue devotion are doing really well right now, but come on, every one of your turns you get a gigantic beast with a haste? If this stays out a turn or two, who can deal with a Polukranos or Arbor Colossus beating down on you with this guy's blessing? No one. No one can deal with that, except a guy with like 3 gray merchants. Then he'll probably be fine. But other than that, certain death. This will see play. The ability is too game-changing not to. Our last spoiler of the day is Karametra, God of Harvest. 3 colorless, 1 green, and 1 white for a 6/7 indestructible god. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or plains card, put it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. Commander! This card will be a staple in Commander. Full Japanese ones will cost a bunch, and everyone playing white and green will need one of these. 1. It searches for basic land types so you can get anything from a dual land to a shock land to Dryad Arbor. 2. It's whenever you cast a creature spell. You're playing white and green. When are you not casting creatures? The mana ramp you're going to get from this card is unreal. I don't think it has an ability that's suited for standard, at least not at its spot on the curve, so I don't expect it to tear up the meta here. But in casual formats, and especially Commander, this is going to get played forever. Almost all of today's spoilers are going to be relevant in constructed formats. It's been a big day for Born of the Gods. What cards do you think are going to shake up the meta the most? Does this new counterspell give mono blue something it didn't have before with Dissolve? Will Grey Merchant of Asphodel ever actually sell anything out of that bag he's carrying? Let us know what you think in the comments. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Born of the Gods spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.